We're inside the Indiana Union Construction Industry radio studio. I'm Matt Taylor with J.J. Stankevitz, and it's our absolute pleasure right now to be with the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Shane Steichen is with us. Shane, congratulations on being the head man in Indianapolis.
Thank you. I'm excited to get to work. I know this is a great organization. I've heard nothing but great things and ready to go.
So what ultimately attracted you the most to this position as you were going through the interview process in the offseason?
You know, obviously, it's always a dream to be a head coach, and then just the things I've heard about this organization, the family atmosphere, the character, the people in this building. I've had a lot of, relationships that have been through this building, and there was nothing but great things said about this place.
Shane, in your introductory press conference, you thanked a lot of people, but one person you thanked was your high school coach, Chris Jones. And I'm curious, when you think back to your days in high school, how can you make the connections from the love of football you developed then to now being a head coach here in this position now?
Well, I think, too, I fostered a love of the game because of him. I remember he would take me. I would be like, his guy to go to these football clinics, and he'd put me up on stage and, I'd be his demonstrator of, hey, here's how you take a 5-step drop, and, 3 big, 2 little, and then it's 1 big and 2 little, and, all those little different things. So we would get in his car and, drive around, wherever it was, 2 hours away, and do these clinics, and then he'd always, he'd give me the keys, to the stadium lights at the high school at night, so Friday night, instead of, going out to a party or something, myself and Austin Colley, who played here, that was my receiver in high school, and we'd go and we'd throw for, a couple hours, whatever it was. It was awesome, to be a part of that. We had a great football team there. It's a good place, good program. They still got it going there, but that's how it all started.
When you think back on the moments you had in high school, and now as a coach, you get to deliver those moments to players. You get to call the play that delivers that singular moment that guys will remember forever. How much gratification do you get out of that as a head coach now?
You know what? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all about the players. The players bring those plays to life, and when you got really good ones, a lot of good things are going to happen, and we had a lot of good players in Philadelphia that I was very fortunate enough to be around.
That's Shane Steichen with us, the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and also going back to your introductory press conference, Chris Ballard said that you guys see the game the same way. That was clear to him during the interview process, getting to know you, getting to talk to you. Without giving too much away, what do you think he means by that in terms of seeing the game in a similar pattern?
Just, philosophically, how you look at, talent, players, how the game's played, all those different things. I think the one thing we want to do, obviously, is, be fast, physical, and play together. And there's going to be a lot of things that go on, throughout this offseason, getting this team prepared and ready to go. But excited and looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, life's been coming at you pretty fast. I understand that. But like you said, again, you had time to study the Colts, research the Colts, get to know what this organization was all about. Going with that, that also includes the roster. When you look at the personnel within this team, what immediately for you jumps off the page?
Well, I think obviously there's some pieces in place already, and the defense has done a hell of a job last year, and then obviously offensively, the offensive line with Quentin, and Kelly and Pittman and Jonathan Taylor and the rest of those guys, a lot of talent in place, and obviously always looking to build on that.
When you talked about your 4 pillars that you're going to come in here with, when you think about the way that those set the tone now for an entire organization, what are you excited about implementing those, not just for an offense, but for an offense, defense, special teams, coaching staff, front office, training staff, everyone you're going to get involved with?
Yeah, I think, there's ways to look at it. Like, people can just talk about it, but you got to live it every single day. There's got to be, a fine-tuned thing that you go through every single day, your process as the head coach of how you're going to really live those and bring them to life, because I've been around, sometimes guys just talk about them, but you got to live it every single day. But, being a good person, the preparation, I hit on that a lot because, the separation is in the preparation. This league, there's so much parity in this league, and you better show up to play, and you better be ready. And it's our job as coaches and players to be ready to go. Every day you step in this, this building, you're on a job interview. Whether you have the job already, you're going to get interviewed every day, and you got to be on your A game at all times.
That's Shane Steichen with us, the new head coach, of course, of the Indianapolis Colts, and it's been well chronicled. You've worked with a lot of different quarterbacks, right? Phillip Rivers and Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and all of those guys have different arm strengths and different backgrounds and different levels of mobility, and you seem to find the best working with all of those guys and bringing the best to light. How long does that take? What is the process like working with a new quarterback and finding his strengths and tailoring an offense around that guy?
It takes some time. Obviously, it doesn't happen overnight, but you got to find those strengths. Obviously, you watch a ton of tape, see what they do well, and then you bring them in. And as coaches, you try to maximize your players' potential and what they do best. And obviously, you got to adapt to the quarterback. That's obviously how the offense will be built, on who's back there throwing that thing and running it. And then obviously the other players around you. You got to do what they do well. What does the offensive line do well? The tight ends, the receivers, backs, all those things, and try to maximize their potential.
What did your years as Philip Rivers quarterbacks coach teach you about how to be a head coach, how to connect with players, specifically a guy who'd been in the league for so long at that point?
Yeah, no, Philip, he made me a better football coach, a guy that's seen so many things. Philip Rivers is older than I am, and I was coaching him at the time, and just the way he saw the game. He was obviously one of our, the best player on our team, but probably, one of the smarter coaches on our team too, and saw the game really well. So I just knew as a coach when I was coaching him, like I had to come in there ready to go to every single meeting just like you normally would, but just try to find some nuggets maybe that he didn't see on film, and whether it's a signal from a team or whatever. I don't want to get into details because I don't like giving away too much things, but he was a tremendous leader, unbelievable person, human being, to be around.
I know you've talked about accelerated vision and how that comes with experience. You coached Justin Herbert, then a year later set the NFL record for rookie touchdowns. How did you learn to coach with a player who doesn't have those years of experience and maybe is working on developing that accelerated vision?
I think just the repetition, really making the plays come to life for him. You can sit there in the meeting rooms and talk about it, but you got to go out and rep it over and over and over again so these guys understand, what we're trying to get done. And I think, obviously being a young player in this league, I told Justin, his rookie year, I said, your best friend's going to be the tailback. You know what I mean? It's all about getting completions. Hey, we go max play action. It ain't there. Just check it down and shoot. Tailback makes one miss. You might get 15, 20 yards, and that's like a chunk play. So just keep the sticks moving as much as we can, and that's how we go.
A final couple of things with Shane Steichen. We're talking with you right now as we speak on your first day on the job here in Indianapolis after your introductory press conference. With that, what's life been like for you the last 2 weeks? I mean, how crazy has it been with interviewing for the job, getting ready for the biggest game that you've ever participated in, whether that's a player or coach, and now a couple days after the game, just coming here and having to put a staff together? I mean, just what's it like for you?
When you're in the moment, you really don't think much about it, to be honest. You're just doing your job. Obviously, the interview process here, I did that right before. I obviously did it a couple weeks ago, and then did it again before we left Arizona to go to the Super Bowl. And then just locking in and having laser focus and, doing the task at hand that needs to be done. And that was, trying to go out there and go win that football game. And then now it's locking in here and get ready to go, get a staff hired, and we'll go from there.
And meeting the guys, a handful of guys for the first time today. How did that go?
It was great. So obviously I want to meet, the rest of the team and and get going with that.
I was going to say, what do the next couple of weeks look like for you now?
Yeah, like I said, just hiring a staff, getting to know these guys. Obviously, they got combines coming up, reach out to the players, all those different things. But really just I want to put together, an elite staff, with good coaches. Again, all those 4 pillars I talked about, character, right, preparation, consistency, and being relentless. That's what I want to build here.
Well, we know your to-do list is pretty lengthy right now, so we appreciate the time. So we're going to cut you loose. That's Shane Steichen, the new head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Coach, great to meet you, great to talk to you, and good luck in your first couple days here.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Shane.
Thanks.